It was October 1977 in Chicago, Illinois. Sarah Martinez was a third grader at Lincoln Elementary School on the South Side. She was a bright, happy kid who loved reading and wanted to be a teacher when she grew up. Her father, Miguel Martinez, worked as a mechanic at a local garage. Her mother, Rosa Martinez, worked 2 jobs, days as a waitress at a diner, evenings cleaning office buildings. They weren't wealthy, but they had enough. They had their daughter, and that's what mattered. On October 17th, Sarah was walking the 6 blocks home from school, the same route she'd walked hundreds of times. Her mother would be home in 20 minutes. Sarah knew to walk straight home, not talk to strangers, and call her mom as soon as she got there. But she never made that call. When Rosa Martinez arrived home at 3:45 p.m. and found the house empty, she wasn't immediately worried. Maybe Sarah had stopped at a friend's house. But by 4:15, when Sarah still wasn't home and wasn't answering the phone at any of her friends' houses, Rosa's worry turned to panic. By 4:30, she'd called Miguel at work and the police. The police found Sarah's backpack 2 blocks from school, thrown behind a dumpster. Her books were scattered, one of her shoes was on the ground, and there was a piece of paper tucked into the backpack with a message written in cut-out magazine letters like something from a movie. $50,000. Wait for call. Tell police she dies. The Martinez family was destroyed. $50,000 might as well have been $50 million. Miguel made $18,000 a year at the garage. Rosa made another $12,000 from her 2 jobs. They had maybe $3,000 in savings. They didn't own their home. They didn't have rich relatives. There was no way to get that kind of money, and the kidnapper had to know that. The Chicago Police Department immediately launched a full investigation. Detectives interviewed everyone at the school, everyone in the neighborhood, everyone the family knew. They set up phone taps waiting for the ransom call. They had officers searching every abandoned building, every vacant lot, every possible location where a child might be hidden. But they found nothing. No witnesses, no leads, no trace of Sarah. Day 1 became day 2, then day 3. With every hour that passed, the statistics got worse. The police knew that in kidnapping cases, time was everything. The first 24 hours were critical. After 72 hours, the likelihood of finding a child alive dropped dramatically. Miguel and Rosa Martinez didn't need statistics to tell them that. They could feel it in their bones. Their daughter was running out of time. The kidnapper called on the afternoon of day 3. Rosa answered the phone with shaking hands. A distorted voice, clearly using some kind of voice changer, told her she had 24 hours to get the money. $50,000, small bills, or you never see her again. I'll call tomorrow with instructions. Then the line went dead. Rosa collapsed on the floor, sobbing. The police detective in their living room tried to reassure her. They were doing everything possible. They had leads. They'd find Sarah. But Rosa knew the truth. They didn't have leads. They didn't have $50,000, and tomorrow the kidnapper would call, and she'd have to admit she couldn't pay. And then, she couldn't even finish the thought. That night, October 20th, the Martinez family story made the 10 p.m. news. It was a slow news day, and the local station ran a 3-minute segment. They showed a photo of Sarah, her school picture with her gap-toothed smile. They interviewed Rosa, who begged through tears for her daughter's return. They mentioned the $50,000 ransom. They showed Miguel, a broken man who could barely speak, saying, "Please, whoever has our daughter, we'll give you everything we have. Just don't hurt her, please."
Muhammad Ali was in Chicago that night, staying at the Palmer House Hotel downtown. He'd been in town for a speaking engagement at a local university. At 10 p.m., he was in his hotel room, probably about to go to sleep, when he turned on the TV and saw the story. Ali watched Rosa Martinez crying, begging for her daughter. He watched Miguel Martinez, a working man like Ali's own father had been, completely powerless to save his child. He heard the detectives say they were doing everything possible in that tone that meant they'd hit a dead end. And Ali, who had 4 daughters of his own, felt something shift inside him. He picked up the phone and called the front desk. "Get me the Chicago Police Department. I need to speak to whoever's in charge of the Sarah Martinez kidnapping case." The desk clerk probably thought he was crazy, but this was Muhammad Ali, so they made the call. Within minutes, Ali was connected to Detective Frank Morrison, the lead investigator on the case. "Detective Morrison, this is Muhammad Ali. I just saw the story on the news about the little girl. I want to pay the ransom." There was a long pause. Detective Morrison thought it was a prank. "Sir, if this is some kind of joke—" "This isn't a joke," Ali said firmly. "That little girl's parents can't get $50,000, but I can, so I'm going to pay it. Tell me how to do that." Detective Morrison was stunned. In 20 years as a detective, he'd never had a stranger, let alone a celebrity, offer to pay a ransom for someone else's child. "Mr. Ali, we can't guarantee you'll get the money back. This could be a scam. You could lose all that money, and—" "I don't care about the money. I care about that little girl getting home safe. Now tell me what I need to do." The next morning, October 21st, Detective Morrison drove to the Palmer House Hotel. Ali met him in the lobby with a briefcase containing $50,000 in cash. He'd had his accountant wire it from his bank account overnight and had it converted to small bills as the kidnapper requested. "Mr. Ali," the detective said, "I have to ask you to reconsider. This money could disappear. We have no guarantee." "Detective, I've got 4 daughters," Ali said, looking him straight in the eye. "If one of them was taken and some stranger offered to help, I'd take that help. Now let's get this little girl home." That afternoon, the kidnapper called with instructions. "Leave the money in a specific trash can in Grant Park at 8 p.m. No police. If they see police, the girl dies." Of course, the police were there, but hidden, watching from a distance. At 8:15 p.m., a figure in dark clothing approached the trash can, grabbed the briefcase, and ran. Police tried to follow, but lost the suspect in the park. The money was gone. For 6 agonizing hours, nothing happened. Miguel and Rosa Martinez sat in their living room with Detective Morrison, waiting, praying. Ali had come to their house. He wanted to be there, to wait with them. Rosa had been stunned when Muhammad Ali walked through her door, but she was too terrified for her daughter to process it. At 2:17 a.m. on October 22nd, the phone rang. Everyone in the room jumped. Miguel answered. It was Sarah.
"Daddy?" her small voice crying. "Daddy, I'm at a phone booth. He left me here. I'm scared." Miguel was already grabbing his coat. "Where are you, baby? Where?" Sarah gave an intersection. It was 8 blocks away. Miguel, Rosa, Ali, and 2 police officers sprinted to their cars and drove there at dangerous speeds. They found Sarah standing under a streetlight, crying, alone, but alive and unharmed. Rosa grabbed her daughter and held her so tight Sarah squeaked that she couldn't breathe. Miguel was crying too hard to speak. The police officers were calling it in, saying they'd recovered the child safely, and Ali stood back, watching, tears streaming down his face too. Sarah looked over her mother's shoulder and saw Ali. Her eyes went wide. Even terrified, even traumatized, even after 3 days of hell, she recognized him. "That's Muhammad Ali," she whispered to her mother. Ali knelt down to her level. "Hey there, Sarah. You're a brave girl. You're safe now. You're going home." Sarah looked at him with wonder through her tears. "You're the greatest!" Ali smiled through his own tears. "No, sweetheart, your mama and daddy are the greatest. I'm just someone who wanted to help." The story hit the national news the next day. "Muhammad Ali pays ransom to save kidnapped girl" was the headline in papers across the country. The media wanted interviews. They wanted to know why he did it. Ali gave one brief statement: "I saw a family in pain and I could help. That's all. Any parent would understand." But what happened next is the part of the story that most people never heard, the part that made it truly special and transformed a single act of generosity into a lifelong commitment. A week after Sarah came home, still recovering from the trauma, still having nightmares, Ali called the Martinez family. "I'm in town for another few days. Can I take Sarah for ice cream? I want to make sure she's doing okay." They went to a small ice cream shop on the south side. Sarah, still traumatized and quiet, barely speaking above a whisper, slowly opened up to Ali. He didn't push her to talk about what happened. Instead, he made her laugh with his magic tricks, the same ones he did for his own daughters. He told her stories about growing up in Louisville, about being scared sometimes, about how being brave doesn't mean not being afraid. And at the end, before they left, he gave Rosa his personal phone number, not a manager's number, not a secretary's number, his actual personal line. "If Sarah ever needs anything, and I mean anything, you call me. I'm not going away. I'm part of this family now." He meant it. Over the next 13 years, Muhammad Ali became a permanent, active presence in Sarah Martinez's life. He called on her birthday every single year without fail. When she had nightmares about the kidnapping, which happened often in those first few years, Rosa would call Ali at 2 a.m., and he'd talk to Sarah on the phone for however long it took until she calmed down and could sleep. When she graduated 8th grade, Ali sent flowers with a card that said, "Proud of you." When she got accepted to Northwestern University, one of Chicago's best public schools, Ali sent a letter of congratulations that Sarah framed and kept on her wall throughout high school. When Sarah was applying to colleges, she wrote about the kidnapping and its aftermath in her essay. She wrote about trauma, about recovery, about the power of kindness from strangers. She got accepted to Northwestern University, partly on merit, partly on that essay, and partly because Ali had written her a recommendation letter that made the admissions committee cry. At her high school graduation in 1987, Ali was there, sitting with Miguel and Rosa, clapping louder than anyone when Sarah's name was called. At her college graduation in 1991, Ali was there again. By now, his Parkinson's disease was visible. His hands shook, his movements were slower, but he wouldn't have missed it. And in 1995, when Sarah Martinez married a man she'd met in college, Ali walked her down the aisle. Miguel was there, of course. He gave her away, but Sarah had asked Ali to walk with her too. "You saved my life," she told him. "Your family."
Ali, his hand shaking from Parkinson's, walked beside Sarah down that aisle with tears in his eyes. When the ceremony was over and people asked him about it, all he said was, "In 1977, I spent $50,000. Best money I ever spent." Sarah Martinez became a teacher, just like she'd dreamed as a little girl. She taught 3rd grade, the same age she'd been when she was kidnapped. She said she wanted to be the kind of teacher who made kids feel safe and cared for, the way Ali had made her feel safe that night she came home. When Muhammad Ali died in June 2016, Sarah Martinez spoke at a private memorial service. She was 47 years old, with 2 children of her own. Through tears, she told the assembled mourners, "People talk about Muhammad Ali, the boxer, the activist, the legend. I knew a different Ali. I knew the man who paid $50,000 to save a little girl he'd never met, who called me every birthday for 25 years, who walked me down the aisle at my wedding, who showed me that heroes aren't people who win fights, they're people who show up when you need them most. He saved my life when I was 8, but he kept saving it year after year just by being there." The kidnapper was never caught. The money was never recovered. Muhammad Ali never asked for it back.
When reporters asked him if he regretted losing $50,000 for nothing since the kidnapper got away, Ali just shook his head. "I didn't get nothing. I got to watch a little girl grow up safe. I got to be at her graduations, her wedding. I got to be part of something bigger than me. That's not nothing. That's everything." If this story of showing up when it matters most moved you, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that being a hero isn't about grand gestures. It's about staying present in someone's life. Have you ever had someone show up for you when you needed them most? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to ring that notification bell for more incredible true stories about the moments when compassion changes everything.